I hear you. We have never been this late before, but we're here in New Orleans. We're doing some tech checks and trying to figure out everything that's going on. And so, also getting ready for the show. I've also been doing some interviews at local stations. So, sorry to be this late, but we are late. But still, we're going to give you the news today. And I know that you guys are sitting around, you're chilling because hopefully you're not working and you're just enjoying the holidays. So, welcome to the Don Lemon Show, everyone. Welcome to Hot Topics. Again, my apologies, but I'm going to make it up definitely for you on New Year's Eve. And we are at DBA right here on Frenchman Street. Mm, oh my gosh, the tea is so good. Also, I decided to finally take some Claritin because the doctor has been saying that it's just allergies, and also you just need to rest. And I don't have time to rest. That's a loud jacket at 10:30 in the morning. I know, right? Is it too much? You guys tell me if it's too much. I bought it because I had to do TV interviews today, and I thought it was festive, and everything is bouncing off. So you can see behind us, we're getting ready. The boys are here. Come here, boys. Come here, boys. Look. Do you see them? Come, boys. There's my boys. Come on. Oh, you can come. Yeah. Say hi, babies. My babies are here. Say hi, Barks. Come here. They're in the bar and they're being a terror. That's the Barks. Say hi, Barks. And then Barks loves to growl, and then they're going to get into a fight if I pick him up. And this is the boom. That's the boomer. Say hi, boomer. And they're having fun in New Orleans. Okay, boys. So we're going, hi, how are you? Folks are walking by, waving at us in the window. I'm sitting in the window. It's like an old time department store. Do you see that where you had like the display glass and you can look and say, I like this shoes. I like this. Let me see, let me make sure I'm in the center. I want to get that dress. So it's really cool. This is old time New Orleans. I'm going to show you. I know the guys are going to kill me, but I'm going to show you some stuff where we are right now as I raise this up. Check this out. You see the guys that across the street right there, that is a spotted cat. They're working, see how they're painting and cleaning it. And then this is the art market that we're going to have all the outdoor trucks. So it's like a big event. And then the street will be blocked off right here and the whole thing. But here we are, right here. I'm on display in the window. And then we're going to get to the news. So look, here's the thing. We could have spent hours and hours and hours talking about this morning. As I move this back this way, I told you the guys were going to kill me. We could have spent hours and hours and hours talking about the F-ups of the Trump administration. And look, guys, it has not even been a year yet. And there were so many that we could not count. I mean, yesterday we showed you at least 12. Today we're going to show you 10, possibly if we have enough time. If you'll, if my jacket isn't too loud and you can hear me over it. But first, here's what I need you to do. First order of business, hit the like, hit the thumbs up because it affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation. And remember also later today, we're going to be doing some live streaming, live IRL. I don't know if you guys liked it yesterday, but we're going to go around New Orleans for a little bit. And then we're going to be back with our 5 o'clock show. So we'll have our normal 5 o'clock show, just so you know, because yesterday you guys were like, where's the news at 5 o'clock? I get you. I hear you. And we're going to take care of it and make sure that that happens today. Okay, let's start with order of business number one. And I want your feedback today because maybe you have some F-ups or some things that you're concerned about with this administration. And here's the weird thing as someone who's an independent. I like to call balls and strikes, whether it's a Democrat or Republican or whatever. I've never seen anything like this. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm a man of a certain age. I've been in the news business since the 1990s, in the early 90s. So I know from whence I'm talking about. And I've never seen anything like this. This is the most chaotic administration that I have seen in recent history. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go a little bit out of order here. Well, it's not really out of order, but I think it's actually in order because Peter put in here about this is from the New York Times. Take a look at this. Donald Trump is the most unpopular president in the last 5 decades. Okay. And this is not partisan. This is just, he is the most unpopular president. And the thing is that he tries to get people to believe that he's really, really, really popular. And it's really, really, really great. And the economy is doing great. And everyone's like, wait a minute. You're talking loud and saying nothing. Or you're speaking out of both sides of your neck, as we say. Or talking out of your neck and speaking out of both sides of your mouth because you're saying Biden is bad and we're in this position right now because the economy is so terrible because of Biden. And then in the next breath, you say the economy is great. Well, which is it? And then you say, well, Biden was a dawdling old man and he didn't know, and it's the auto pen, and he was not fit to be president. All of those things, but then all of a sudden he's this diabolical genius that this sort of mad genius that can is trying to kill the world and kill America. Like, which is it? So it's a lot of double speak and a lot of like blaming people for shit that he's responsible for right now. So I want you guys, we're going to take you back to the very beginning. I believe this was the first week or two, maybe the second week of the administration, somewhere around January 28th. And if you guys correct me if I'm wrong, you remember there was this mid-air plane crash, plane and a helicopter in New Orleans, excuse me, in Washington, D.C., over the airport there. And immediately before they even found out, like, who was responsible, what was the cause, any of that, they had to do something to take the blame off of them, because they started laying off people from the FAA and air traffic controllers and all of that. And then all of a sudden you have this disaster and you want to blame it on the Biden administration. The Biden administration was not there. I don't remember seeing these disasters when Pete Buttigieg was a transportation secretary. So this is from the very beginning. They start to blame people, and then they want to blame diversity, equity, and inclusion because they needed a boogeyman. Here's the president.
Office, they put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, I mean, actually, their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened, because of the stress, where you have many, many planes coming into one target.
You know what? He's right on one point. You have to have brilliant people in those positions. And he did. There were brilliant people in those positions that they let go because they thought, well, maybe this person is a person of color or it's a woman or whatever. And they wanted to have, and let's just be honest, and I'll show you the proof of it. They wanted to have white men in those positions. They believe those are the people who are more qualified or most qualified for those positions. They also believe the same thing with pilots, that those are the people who are most qualified. I remember when I think it was Charlie Kirk and others who were on, and they're saying, oh my gosh, when I get on a plane and I look into the cockpit and I see this, strong jawed white guy, I feel safe. And then I hope that it's not a black person in the cockpit. That's what Charlie Kirk said. And so when Charlie Kirk died, and people said it was horrible, should never have died that way. However, this is what he said about my people, people of color and black women, and others who were saying, well, this is what he said about minorities. I wasn't down with that, but I don't think the man should have died that way. He got all up in arms. But here's the proof of J.D. Vance on this very same day, right in the beginning of the administration for this disaster, saying this happened because they didn't hire white guys.
When you don't have the best standards in who you're hiring, it means on the one hand, you're not getting the best people in government, but on the other hand, it puts stresses on the people who are already there. We want to hire the best people because we want the best people at air traffic control, and we want to make sure we have enough people at air traffic control who are actually competent to do the job. If you go back to just some of the headlines over the past 10 years, you have many hundreds of people suing the government because they would like to be air traffic controllers, but they were turned away because of the color of their skin. That policy ends under Donald Trump's leadership because safety is the first priority of our aviation industry.
Here's the thing. It's easy to fool people when you're not educated, if you don't read, if you sit in front of the television or on the radio or whatever it is that you're getting and podcast, and you're only listening to people who to a certain people who have a certain ideological bend, or people who agree with you, or if you're trying to have, your own beliefs reconfirmed, right? It's easy to co-opt people and to mislead people if you believe that, if that's what you do, because that's not what diversity, equity, and inclusion does. Diversity, equity, and inclusion does not hire women who are less qualified over white people or white men. Diversity, equity, and inclusion does not hire black people or Hispanic people over. It's not what it is. It's simply opening up the opportunities for more people. So if you feel that you have to rig the system, because if you allow more people in and you allow for more competition, that somehow that disadvantages you, that says a lot about who you are and what you think. That means that you think you're entitled to these positions. And so it casts a bigger net so that people just don't hire the people who look like them. Just don't hire the people that they know. Just don't hire the people who live where they live. So instead of, I'm just for example, if you live here where I am in New Orleans, and they say, well, we need to hire people, but we need to hire people from Louisiana and the surrounding area, not just from New Orleans. We don't have a big enough pool here, a big enough qualified pool here. We may be able to get more qualified people who are better at these positions if we cast a wider net. And so I agree with 3 minutes a day in the comments who say diversity, equity, and inclusion make sure qualified people have an opportunity open for the job when their prior opportunities were closed, primarily due to systemic racism. That's part of it. But the main thing that they do is they cast a wider net of people. And in that wider net of people, what you are more prone and more apt to getting more diversity. And so if you get someone who just is black and they happen to be more qualified than another person, a white person who's getting it, doesn't mean that you're discriminating against a white person. It means that what? You're just looking for more qualified people instead of fewer qualified people or fewer people who may be less qualified. So they didn't understand what diversity, equity, and inclusion was. They don't now, and that bit them in the arse, as they say, and it continues to. And that's why you're seeing all of these F-ups, like some of the things that happen. Another major blunder that is still going on because of retribution, because of hiring people. If you want to talk about DEI, which is your definition, not the actual definition, why don't we look at the people you put in positions of power, the people you put in like Christine Ohm, like Sean Duffy, like JD Vance. JD Vance is a DEI hire, by the way, because they wanted that hillbilly elegy, that kind of guy, that kind of person. What are you saying? We want someone who looks and sounds and has this background. That would be your definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because we know that's not actually what it is. But by your definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion, you have unqualified people like JD Vance, like Christine Ohm, like Pam Bondi, and we like Kash Patel, like Dan Bongino, who has now seen the real deal and then realized that, oh shit, what I thought was true, or what I was promoting on the internet as a podcaster or as a right-wing pundit wasn't necessarily so. The facts did not line up, even though I believe, and I would like to believe, all this bullshit that I spout. When I look at the evidence is not true. So as it relates to the Epstein files, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, all of a sudden realized when they saw what was in there, uh, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. That's what they ended up saying after they had been saying for years, Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Then they realized it, and then people started to turn against him and say, what the hell? And so then in steps Pam Bondi, who says, I've got all the information on my desk and it's going to be released, and there are going to be Democrats who are implicated, blah, 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 blah. Another DEI had Pam Bondi. This Epstein situation won't go away because they keep trying to bury it and they're not qualified to handle it. And here is the actual evidence. This is Pam Bondi talking about, hey, we're going to secure the files. They're on my desk and we're going to release everything and wait till you see what's in it. And as it turned out, all of it turned out to be a big lie. None of it has panned out, even to this day. This is Pam Bondi months ago.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Yes.
Not yet.
No.
I was asked a question about the client.
Pause. Have you seen anything? Not yet. Because as you said, have you seen anything? Not yet. And then a little bit, not long after that, Donald Trump was asked about the Epstein files, and he says, why are you still talking about that? Can we just not talk about that anymore? Can we just move on? Because maybe him and Pam Bondi saw some shit that they didn't want released. I'm just saying. because all of a sudden there was a 180 on it. Continue on.
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide.
Pam Bondi is full of shit, okay? Because nothing has been released. As a matter of fact, we know just last week, and we brought you the story, they released, the Department of Justice, a fake video, an AI, computer-generated video that supposedly showed Jeffrey Epstein offing himself in a prison cell, releasing it without context, confusing people. They were wondering, wait a minute, is this Jeffrey Epstein offing himself? And as it turns out, on this channel, we were skeptical about it, and then we did not put it out, and we were correct to do it in the beginning. Afterwards, we could have shown it. I still didn't show it because with context, it would have explained that this is AI generated. This is not anything that's true. And there are a lot of things in the file that have not been fully investigated and proven, and that sort of context would have helped. But still, we are months into it. We're almost a year into this administration, and still they have not released these files. All they had to do is release them in the beginning. That's all they had to do. And guess what? Even the MAGA faithful, the people who had the loudest voices during this election, the people with huge platforms like Ben Shapiro, right? Hundreds of millions of followers and people who tune into him. Megyn Kelly, tens of millions of people who tune into her. Some of the most powerful voices in MAGA media and the MAGA sphere, the manosphere, streaming, podcasting, social, all of that are now saying, wait a minute, something is up. I'm not saying that Trump is guilty of anything, but certainly the way that they're handling this looks like concealment, like they're trying to conceal something, they're trying to hide, and they are making Donald Trump look guilty while they think that they are defending him or helping him. Here it is.
Either Pam Bondi is royally screwed up. I mean, she has. That's not in dispute. She's royally screwed up. And the president is just forgiving her because she's a loyal soldier and, he likes her and he doesn't want to go through the messy confirmation process of getting somebody else in there. So that's possible. That's definitely a possible number one. And there's no there in the files anyway, right? Like the way she screwed up was overpromising when she didn't have the goods, and she genuinely doesn't have the goods. And so the big mistake was overpromising, and the president doesn't really care about that mistake. Or there is something there and it's being covered up and the president blessed it, right? But I didn't say, or there's a child sex ring that he's actively covering up, because the truth is, I think there's some middle ground between 1 and 2, you're 1 and 2, of there is something in there, more could be disclosed, and it's something short of there's a massive pedophile ring that they're covering up. Like, it would have some names, those men would have to defend themselves. Maybe the administration doesn't think it's a fair position to put them in. Maybe there are questions about the accusers. Maybe there are like half-hearted allegations in there that, normally a DOJ would not put out, but feels like it kind of might have to, given all the promises that have been made by Pam and prior to taking office, Cash and Dan.
Andy, pause this. How much longer in here? Just how much longer?
Just 2 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think there could be a middle ground.
Okay, so all of that, there's something just short of this. This is something, they're protecting Pam Bondi. She's a loyal soldier. Why don't you just come out and say it? How do you know? You don't know, Megyn Kelly. You have no idea if there's anything that's really harmful in there. There's something that's really nefarious. You have no idea about any of that. We don't know. And the fact that we don't know, the fact that they're not being completely candid about this and completely transparent about it, what does that lead people to believe? it leads and leaves people to believe that something is not sitting right. Something is going on. Something is up at this point. And what are they trying to hide here? The thing that they're trying to hide, I agree, we don't know. Partially agree with what Megan Kelly, mark that on your calendars, is that we don't know if there's that they're trying to protect people because they don't want to, they don't want to harm the innocent just from being in a picture or having some association with Jeffrey Epstein, and they don't know what he did or were not aware of what he was doing, or if they were in cahoots with him, or if they did something completely terrible. Look, it's not the Overton window, but the pendulum, we don't know. It could be 100% terrible something, or it could be nothing. But the only way that we know that is by releasing the file. So you're leaving people up to conjecture and, again, to draw their own conclusions. And what does that show to me? That shows me that Pam Bondi is incompetent, that Dan Bongino is incompetent, that Kash Patel is incompetent. Obviously, Donald Trump is incompetent because he can't even shape his own narrative or reality anymore that he has been trying, if you look at the polling numbers that I discussed, that I talked to you about. Now, speaking of incompetence, there is another person in the administration who is thoroughly incompetent, and I just need you to stand by for a moment because first I'm going to get a word in from our sponsors. Okay, so give me 1 minute. Support for the show today comes from 120 Life. And I'm so glad to have 120 in my life right now. Did you know high blood pressure is the #1 risk factor for mortality? Well, it is. And here's the part that should stop you in your tracks. 1 in 2 adults has high blood pressure. So that means that's half of this country. And during the holidays, you're going to be sitting at tables, right? For New Year's, you're going to be gathering with people and loved ones who are dealing with this. So whether they talk about it or not, you know that they're dealing with it. Some people keep it a secret. And that's why I want to tell you about 120 Life. It's a once-a-day, great-tasting functional drink, and it's made from ingredients that can help support healthy blood pressure. It's not a pill. It's not a gimmick. And it is powdered. It's a powdered version. It's just 1 gram of sugar. So it works for people watching their blood sugar too. So just 1 gram of sugar in there. What I like is how simple it is. You drink it daily, and then you take a home blood pressure monitor, and then you watch your numbers change. The doctors trust it, hundreds recommend it, more than 1,000 health professionals support it. And yes, it actually tastes good. A refreshing superfood blend that fits into real life, even during the chaos. So right now, you can try 120 Life. You can do it risk-free. You can get 20% off when you use the code DON, D-O-N, that's my name, at 120life.com. Try it for 2 weeks. If your numbers don't come down, you're going to get a full refund. So there's nothing to lose except your high blood pressure. So go to 120life.com and use the code DON to save 20% today. So I need you to know you should always check with your doctor, always, always, always. And these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. So always check in. Thank you to our sponsor, 120 Life. Okay, now back to someone who is highly, maybe the most. I don't know. That's a hard, man. That's hard to say who's the most unqualified in this administration. But I think the person who's been the biggest fuck up is Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth started with they didn't really, a lot of folks did not want to have him confirmed. The president pushed for it, and they said, look, if you don't want the MAGA faithful, you don't want me to send the MAGAs after you, politicians, lawmakers, then you better confirm my nominee for Secretary of Defense, which is Pete Hegseth. Remember, he had the scandals about the wives and about his drinking and about how he treated colleagues and about how he treated people. And there was even the allegations of impropriety at hotels and with women, all of these things. Yet he got the job, even though he was a weekend cable news host who happened to have some role in the military, not high-ranking positions in the military. But even after all that, he still got the position. And then when there was a covert military operation, Pete Hegseth and others get on Signal, the text communications app, and start letting go of secrets and making comments and giving away information that could have put our troops, our people in the military at harm. Talking about Signalgate. Richard Haas can explain just how awful this was and what a numbskull and a bumbling move for Pete Hegseth and others to do what they did on Signalgate. Here it is.
Not only is it classified, it's highly classified. Parts of it were probably compartmented as well. So that's not even an issue. And to deny that it was classified is preposterous. That's unsustainable. Bigger issue was, why did this take place on Signal? See, God invented something called the Situation Room. And the Situation Room is a secure facility in the basement of the White House where you have meetings. It's an old-fashioned word. And the idea is you have serious conversations around the table, because that's when you discuss big national security.
If you're talking about military attacks halfway around the world.
100%. Should you do it? How do you do it? What's the likely responses of the Houthis? What would be the response of the Iranians? Who do you have to tell in advance? How do you coordinate with
Pause,
the Israelis?
Please. So Richard Haas is speaking what? He's speaking logically. He's speaking like a man with experience. He's speaking like someone who knows what it takes, and he knows the qualifications to be in government, to be in those positions, to be the Secretary of Defense, which was later turned into the Secretary of War, which is just beyond. But he knows those things, and this is how far we have come in this country with norms. And they keep saying, we want a meritocracy. We want the most qualified people. We believe those qualified people are white men. This just shows to go you that they don't believe. I know it goes to show you. I just say that's my way of saying it. That they don't believe in a meritocracy. What they want is a white America. He wants to put people in those positions who represent who he is, and also people who are flawed. People who owe him something, people who would never get these positions unless it was Donald Trump, and they will feel like, hey, appreciation for him and loyalty to him, fealty, because he gave them something that they would otherwise not get if they didn't know him, which is, again, part of their definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But here is more logic from Richard Haas.
You give heads ups to others and so forth. Yeah. And people like Vance, the vice president, who had doubts about the wisdom of doing it now, that's when you have that conversation. You don't do it in a group chat with emojis, for God's sakes. This is serious stuff. So the most important thing these guys could do is not just get off Signal. They could run a serious national security process where you have meetings with agendas. You think about who needs to be in. Why was the Secretary of the Treasury in the room? Yeah. Why was someone like Steve Witkoff in the room from Moscow? It's not just security questions. There's the question of, how do you run a serious policy process? From Moscow. The whole thing was wrong. Can I say one other thing? What also came through the content, the loathing of this administration for anything European. Yeah. It is a pathology. It is. It goes way beyond anything. And it just shows that has been the largest pool of allies and partners this country has had for 80 years to help us, not just in Europe, but around the world. And the loathing for them is quite stunning.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because that takes me to the next thing. So, and still, Pete Hegseth got out of Signalgate. I don't know if it's unscathed, but he kept his job. And because Donald Trump didn't want to be embarrassed in the beginning, there were reports that Donald Trump was, at wit's end, and it was coming to a head, and then decided, okay, we're just going to let him, see if he can self-correct and try to work his way or earn his way into the job. All right. And which is a big position, and still has not. So, he's still getting preferential treatment, and, it's still the DEI hire. But speaking of that, because of this, couple things, because of this, what happened with Signalgate, what happened with rounding up people on the streets, which is what I'm going to talk about, and then also what happened with those Venezuela boat strikes, we lost a key ally, which is the UK. They said we can no longer share intelligence information with the United States, reportedly, and stopped. Hi, how are you? I'm sorry, people are walking by and trying to get selfies and waving. Okay, thank you. Good to see you. So let's talk about then the terror campaign of ICE. The immigration dragnet produced family separations, prolonged detentions of U.S. citizens, mounting legal defeats, all while failing to meaningfully change border dynamics. The cruelty was the point here. It backfired politically as abuse is accumulated, and you guys know, you remember, we were out there in the trenches, in the fields, in Chicago and other places, chronicling some of this just inhumane, indefensible treatment of pulling people out of carpool lines at school, detaining American citizens and not wanting to see their identification or their citizenship papers or their passports or their state IDs or any of those things that would show that they are citizens, instead rounding them up anyways. So this is some of it. Embrace yourself for it, and we should be showing more of this, and we will. We promise in the new year to show more of this. But just some of the awful detainments that happened over the past couple months.
No, you don't. Show me. Show me right now. Where's the warrant at? No. Show me the warrant right now. We're not gonna let her go. Yo, get your hands on my mom.
And him saying goodbye to his family.
He's not going anywhere. He's gonna go see
Okay, nos vamos a ir con él. No, and then he won't come back. How dare you? Nos vamos a ir con él.
You guys really don't need to be doing all of that. حبيبي كيف بدي اتصل فيك؟
It's just unbelievable.
Okay.
Mommy's coming.
That all of this happened.
Okay.
It's just unbelievable. Just, can you guys pause it for a minute, please? I can't believe still that they are doing it and being allowed to get away with it. How much longer is in this, Andy?
20 seconds.
I can't believe that they are allowing this to happen. And we are as well. And I hear a lot of people saying, well, they voted for Donald Trump and they effed around and they found out. You know what? That's true in a way. It is true. But on the other side of that, this is not what America is about. America is about due process for everybody, even if you F around and find out. Because if you allow this to happen to someone else because they made a mistake in judgment or they were co-opted by someone, which, look, yes, I don't know if any of those people that we showed, well, actually, I take that back. A number of the people we showed who voted for and supported Donald Trump. Can you please get me the lady, Peter or Nikki, the lady who was, I will vote for Donald Trump, the lady, that was a bot. And then all of a sudden realize, like, oh my gosh, what the hell happened? This is not what I voted for. And then you had podcasters all coming out. Same thing. Some of the biggest folks like Joe Rogan saying, this is not what I voted for. And then the people who were, down, and they say that's the Cuban Americans. But listen, I speak to a number of Latino Americans who support Donald Trump. And he got a higher number of Latino Americans who supported him in the past election in 2024. But just to remind you, I want to continue with some of the detainment so that you can see. Watch.
I'm getting out.
Well, you should have done it already.
I told you 3 times. I'm looking at your seatbelt. Step out of the car. You still understand. Step out of the car. Okay.
Because I'm Iranian.
Yes,
I'm Iranian.
I understand.
That's why they are doing this.
No, but they're doing
I'm born here. I'm born here. Brooklyn, baby. Donald Trump, I said, suck my.
Hey, look, someone says, Cam the killer. Cam, I agree with you. And I'm going to explain after I read your comment. Cam says, no, Don, it's time to stop saying this isn't America. This is America. And what it's always been about. They voted for this, and I don't feel sorry for them no more because warn them. Okay, I understand that. I do have empathy for folks I do understand that people can make mistakes and they can change, but you're right. They were warned, and they still voted for him. And this is America. And I think what I mean by that is that this is what it's not supposed to be. And we keep trying to live up to that more perfect union. It's not perfect. I don't know if we'll ever get to it. But look, I understand where you're coming from. I really do. Because it is really frustrating. I did, a lot of folks did, tried to warn people. I have been trying to warn people, especially here in Louisiana. I have friends, high school buddies, or former buddies, college as well, who supported Donald Trump. And I tried to explain to them, like, hey, I know this man. I've been living in New York for a long time. Do you remember back in the early 90s when I said I was moving to New York and you guys said, oh, you're going to be back and why are you moving to that big city or whatever? Well, that's when I became really aware of who Donald Trump was and read about him in the papers almost every day and what a clown he was. And how he faked his wealth and he would call, and pretend to be his own PR person and all of his bankruptcies. And when I lived in Philadelphia, I got to witness the downfall of Atlantic City, and due to, in part, because of Donald Trump's mishandling of a casino. Who goes bankrupt? Like, casinos don't go bankrupt. They make people become bankrupt. But this is some of the people, and I understand who, I think it's Cam in the chat is talking about, Cam the Killer. This woman, huge supporter, and then all of a sudden Donald Trump co-opted and lied to them, and they believed it. And they believed it because they wanted to believe it. And was there some bias or racism there? Probably, not probably, probably. But watch.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
That's unfair. It is unfair. I'm so sorry. I can't talk enough.
Let me ask
I don't know how I'm going to say that to my mom. My mom has a hard time.
Judelka Mejia cannot believe she's going back home without her nephew, 29-year-old Yasael Almonte Mejia. Like many other immigrants, when their case is dismissed, they are detained at the hallway.
They are detained at the hallway, and those folks there, for sure, I know that the woman in the beginning, obviously, the woman singing, I will vote for Donald Trump, was Trump supporter. Obviously, she wrote the thing. But still, even when people make blunders, that's not just a mistake, blunders like that, supporting this person, I think that you have to have some, even if you don't do it for empathy or sympathy, you do it because you don't want it to happen to you. And that doesn't mean that you have to you're supporting those people. You're supporting the idea and the concept of democracy and due process. That's just how I feel about it. Okay, other blunders, which I think is huge, and that's still playing out right now. Can we talk? Oh, wait, hold on one second. Before I go to that, there's one woman who I think embraces the spirit of how we should be treating and what these folks who are out detaining people without due process, how people should be reacting to it. And you know what? We have to give her flowers because she's one hell of a woman. Watch.
Bitch, you stupid bitch. That's why you're a bunch of fucking criminals. I wish you would. I wish the fuck you would. Yes, the fuck we his family. You're all a bunch of big pussies. Don't tell me calm down. Who the fuck is you? We don't like none of you.
You okay?
No, how can I be okay? You okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
I look like I'm okay? Don't come up in my face here because I hit hard. Fuck wrong with y'all?
Try it.
I wish you would.
Try it.
You try me and see what the fuck happened. Nigga, we angry. All of us angry out here. So don't think it's y'all alone.
Get out of here.
Who you telling get out of here? Why you telling me get out of here? You asked me a question and I'm answering you.
Get out of here. Man.
Fuck wrong with you? Oh, stupid ass bitch. That's why you gotta hide your face.
You wanna go to jail?
You told me my mother I can tell you anything.
You wanna go to jail?
Fuck wrong with you? You wanna hit me? Hit me, bitch. You ain't got me. Nobody's scared of you. You're a pussy ass. Come. I got So me and you gonna fight, you pussy bitch. You a pussy bitch. That's why your kids them don't like you and your wife is fucking on you. That's why you gotta hide your face. My face ain't hidden, bitch. I'm American, you stupid bitch. Fuck wrong with y'all. You can take me too high. I'm Charlotte the Zodiac friends. You know what to do? Tell them, no. You want me? Fuck wrong with y'all. Fuck all of you. Put that on the news. Let Trump see it. I'm so fucking ready,
I love her. Amazing. A couple of things I want to. So I hope she has the 2026 she deserves, meaning she deserves to have a fantastic year. And every time you see her on the street, I think you need to give her flowers, shake her hand her some money, whatever you need to do, because she is the energy that we all need, and she is amazing. And I love it when people aren't afraid. She was not afraid of having to. It's like John Lewis getting into good trouble. Everybody, as I talk about now, everyone is so comfortable. And remember, comfort is a poison. When people are so comfortable that they get, sort of lulled into inaction, and I believe that's what's happening a lot. You have to be don't be afraid of getting into good trouble. Look, if something happens, if I see someone being mistreated or something happens on the street, I'm gonna have to get into some good trouble. Remember, the people who fought for civil rights, for women's rights, for gay rights, for whatever rights it is, they looked at having the disorderly, conduct or all of that. They looked at that as a badge of honor on their record. They were not afraid because they realized that you had to stand for something or you will fall for anything. And so that's where I am on that. Good trouble, like John Lewis said. A couple different things that I want to get to, and I want to talk Liberation Day tariffs. We all know that the tariffs thing was bullshit. Even Jerome Powell, who is Treasury Secretary, is that right? Jerome Powell saying, no, not Treasury Secretary. I forget what he is. So, anyways, Jerome Powell saying, you know what? We need to. The tariffs are having, the tariffs are having a detrimental effect on the economy. Even he said that, and then also we have Robert Reich explaining what the tariffs do and how detrimental they are to the economy.
Trump wants to raise tariffs, and it's going to come out of your pocket.
Tariff. It's more beautiful than love. It's more beautiful than anything. It's the most beautiful word.
Trump keeps saying that other countries pay for tariffs, but that's not how they work. Tariffs are effectively taxes on imported products, which we ultimately pay. Say there's a 60% tariff on Chinese imports. When Walmart imports Mr. Coffee machines from China, which is where they're made, who pays the tariff? Not China. Walmart pays the United States government. For example, if Walmart buys a coffee machine for $20, the 60% tariff means they'll pay an extra $12 in taxes, bringing their total cost to $32 per machine.
Okay, pause. Okay, so then what happens then? Then they pass that on to the consumer. By the way, I remembered right as I rolled the sound, but he's a Fed chair, Jerome Powell. But that's Robert Reich, a lot of Reich, and people will tell you, remember, so Walmart, I believe, and the auto industry, they were absorbing these tariffs for a while to see if they would work because they wanted, obviously didn't want to pass it on to consumers. They knew it would slow down their sales. And then finally got to a point saying, we can't do this any longer. We're going to have to pass this along to the consumer. And anyways, it has been showing up in the data. That's why the Fed chair has been loath to reduce interest rates and all of those things. Okay, so we have that. Then we have one of the biggest blunders starting from the very beginning, and that was the Doge disaster. The administration's flirtation with meme economics and crypto governance devolved into regulatory confusion in this country, investor losses, public embarrassment, a lot of lives that were ruined and messed up in careers because they were firing people with institutional knowledge. What was pitched as innovation ended as a case study in unserious policymaking. They ended up, it is believed by some reports, spending more money trying to save money. Check out this report.
But look at what happened when they came in.
It's just Pete Buttigieg, it's not a report.
If this was actually about government efficiency, then the problem you would be solving, which is a real problem, is that in the federal government, it is too hard to reward your top performers. So you could be somebody who could be commanding a multi-million-dollar salary in the private sector, working on something wildly important, but there's just no way that you're getting, you're in your particular pay grade, same as everybody else.
Yeah.
And to remove your bottom performers. Like a lot of people who've been in and out of business and government will tell me, like when I was in the private sector and the public sector, actually, like the top 10% were pretty much the same, these amazing driven people. The government ones weren't compensated as well, but they were purpose driven. But the bottom 10% was completely different because I couldn't do anything about the bottom 10%. Right? So imagine if Doge had come in and they had gone through every department and said, okay, we're going to create a way to reward the top performers. And we're also going to analyze either whose job description is no longer needed, or their job performance is not there. And even though it's painful, even though maybe it's politically tough, like we're going to show them the door. That would be one thing. But they just sent an email to everybody. Many of whom were in fact top performers. Like some of the people they fired who got caught up in this thing, the people got fired just based on whether you were in a category called probationary employee. But to be clear, probationary isn't like you fucked up and you're on probation.
Yeah, you could start.
You could actually be because you were promoted. You could be a 7-year veteran at the FAA, or maybe you'd been there as a contractor, but you were so good that the FAA said, we want to hire you now as a government employee. And even though it might have been a little pay cut, you went for it. And you're probationary. And then next thing you know, like you wake up one day and this office, department, whatever Doge is, clearly hasn't like gone through and checked like who's doing a good job or who's. There's no way because there wasn't even time to do that. And they're just like, guess what? You're fired. Too bad.
Yeah, and so that alone ruined. I mean, institutional knowledge. People who, and guess what? They ended up having to hire a lot of those people back because the agencies were crippled. They couldn't, give out paychecks and all kinds of things. And so they ended up having to hire those people back. And all of those numbers, I don't know if you guys remember this, you should, that they were saying we're saving this much on this, was a drop in the bucket. And again, according to some reports, ended up costing more money than it saved. On now to a huge flop that I got to tell you about, and that is political prosecutions. Before I get to that, though, here's a word from our sponsor. So the support for the show today is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. As 2025 comes to a close, a lot of us are taking stock of where this country is headed. And if you care about democracy, if you care about civil liberties, if you care about the Constitution, then you already see it very clearly that Christian nationalism is no longer fringe, my friends. It's organized, it's in our politics, it's in our school boards and classrooms, and it is pushing a version of America that leaves millions of people out, especially non-believers, especially members of the LGBTQ plus community, and religious minorities. That's why I want to tell you about the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Since 1978, FFRF has been defending that wall between separation between church and state, doing the legal work to make sure that government works for all of us, not just those with power and a particular theology. As we head toward the 2026 midterms, this moment really matters. Institutions that defend our freedoms need to be strong before those freedoms are taken away. So here's how you can help. Make a tax-deductible donation before December 31st, or become a member and support their ongoing fight for reason, equality, and constitutional integrity. So go to F as in Frank, or F as in freedom, I'll do that again. Go to F as in freedom, R for reform, F as in freedom, .us/winter, ffrf.us/winter25, or text Don to 511-511 right now, because protecting democracy takes more than outrage. It takes action, and it starts with you. So text fees may apply. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Now, let's talk about this prosecutorial flops. We all know what happened with Letitia James and with James Comey. Donald Trump sent this note. They thought it was a personal note, maybe a DM or a text message that he somehow put on Truth Social by accident, saying that it was time to go after his political enemies. He went after them. Two of them are Letitia James and James Comey. And as it turns out, it ended up being a big flop. Here's the report.
The Department of Justice is vowing to appeal a federal judge's ruling, throwing out the criminal charges against two of President Trump's political adversaries, former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James.
We'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal, to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable.
The judge found that Lindsay Halligan, President Trump's hand-picked interim U.S. attorney in Virginia, was not lawfully appointed because of laws limiting how long top prosecutors can serve without Senate confirmation. Halligan, a former
Pause. Okay, so she's a Trump loyalist and all that. She had no experience. Now, how are you going to tell people that this meritocracy and they're hiring all these black people and women and minorities and whatever it is, people who have developmental issues, all this, whatever they're saying, right? You do that, and then you hire someone this incompetent, especially to do your dirty work. And that wasn't just the same thing about her appointment. It was also about how the information that she did not release, and or the case that she gave to the grand jury didn't see something, and then somebody else saw it. I mean, it was just a whole mess. And the cases ended up being thrown out. And then judges refused to take the cases because they saw it was, they felt that it was retaliatory. So anyway, another blunder by the administration. And then we have this affordability collapse. Quickly, I'm going to tell you guys now. Zoran Mamdani came to the scene talking about affordability, won the mayoral race in New York City just by talking about affordability. Donald Trump realizes, or the Republicans realize, that this is a big issue and that Democrats can use it. Well, Donald Trump did the same thing with affordability that he did with COVID. And you guys know what he did. He said it was fake, that it was a Democratic hoax. Same strategy. It's always the same strategy. It's fake. It's a Democratic hoax. It's a Democratic ploy. All of that. And then when it turns out to be real, then he tries to co-opt it, or he tries to take ownership of it. Pardon me. And then he tries to make him think it's his idea. And I've been talking about this a lot. First, he denied it. His people sent him out. His people told him, your poll numbers are going down. You need to go out and talk about it. He went out on the road, denied it, turned out to backfire. And then he had to come back to Washington, D.C. Finally, he said, okay, it's real. But then he started talking about like purchasing power or something like that. Anyway, unbelievable. That was a huge disaster. You guys already know that people can't afford shit right now, and he tried to downplay it. That was one disaster. Then we had the Venezuela boat strikes, which ended up being similar to Signalgate, and being touted or reported as people believe that it was a war crime. Some very smart people who are in government saying that this has every indication of a war crime. Same thing as the Epstein files. No transparency. They won't show the original video. They're concealing it. And now they believe that Pete Hegseth, who was supposedly in the room to look at the strike, and then there was a second strike that they said was even more uncalled for, or possibly illegal, or even a bigger war crime than the first strike on this boat, because people died in the water there. First of all, people believe that he should not be in Venezuela. He was saying he was in Venezuela because he was trying to stop the flow of fentanyl into this country. Venezuela is not even a huge producer, or a producer at all, of fentanyl. So it's all bullshit. The same bullshit that he's talking about in Nigeria, trying to create a narrative to fix something that is not broken. And then this one was one of my favorites. The White House Vanity Fair debacle that just happened. They don't ever let reporters into your circle, especially for a long period of time, that can follow you anywhere where you go to lunch, inside the whatever, to the gym, whatever. It never do your homework. It never works out. And it didn't work out for the administration. And guess what? That photographer did them in. He did them dirty. He's showing Caroline Leavitt what people believe are lip injection marks in her lip filler. And Susie Weil looking crazy, like crazy eyes, taking pictures in front of electrical sockets, light switches. I mean, just all kinds of crazy stuff. JD Vance looking like he lost his mind. So that was a debacle. Susie Weil ended up talking shit about her own boss and about people in the administration that I don't know if I would have even said on a private phone call or just a private conversation. I would keep that shit to myself. She's still there. Donald Trump defended her. And then this is one that I think affects most Americans, and that is the Affordable Care Act, the subsidies expiring. Now, Republicans have been lying about the Affordable Care Act for a decade now, for a decade now. They've been lying about it and saying, hey, we're going to come up with a better healthcare plan. And as it turns out, they never had a better healthcare plan. And even this administration started off saying, we have a healthcare plan. Oh, we have constitutional plan. We're going to do it. We're going to have great. They still don't have a plan. They ended up shutting the government down. And now healthcare premiums are going to skyrocket day after tomorrow. Wait till you see it. But this is what Donald Trump has been saying. Again, lying, trying to shape reality. Here it is.
I will ask Congress to convene a special session so we can repeal and replace. And it will be such an honor for me, for you, and for everybody in this country. As soon as our secretary is approved and gets into the office, we'll be filing a plan. We have a really terrific, I believe, healthcare plan coming out. We're going to have a healthcare plan that's going to be second to none. It's going to be great. As I never said, repeal it and replace it within 64 days. I have a long time. It's been very much misreported that we failed with healthcare. We haven't failed. We're negotiating, and we continue to negotiate. We have 2 plans coming out in a very short period of time. We're going to come up with a health care plan. We're not going to vote on it until after the election. The plan is coming out over the next 4 weeks. We're going to produce phenomenal health care, and we already have the concept of the plan. We'll be announcing that in about 2 months, maybe less. We have a great plan coming out. It's going to be if we can take back the House. We're signing a health care plan within 2 weeks, a full and complete healthcare plan. We're going to be doing a very inclusive healthcare plan. I'll be signing it sometime very soon. It might be Sunday, but it's going to be very soon. We're going to be introducing a tremendous healthcare plan sometime hopefully prior to the end of the month. It's just about completed now.
All right, guys. When are people going to stop buying this bullshit? When are folks going to stop buying this bullshit? I'm tired of talking about it. I want to talk about something else next year. And you know what else? I don't want to talk about politics on New Year's Eve. And I'm just sick of it. And I think people need a politics-free, or at least a Trump-free New Year's Eve, where we can be in community and communion with each other, hanging out, having a good time, having a couple of drinks, just loving on each other. Maybe you're having, maybe there's a spade game going on. Maybe, I don't know, whatever you're doing. Maybe you're playing strip poker. I don't care. Spin the bottle, whatever it is. You guys do your thing. But New Year's Eve is a time for us to remember what was good about the year, what the things that we would like to not see repeated, and what we want to take into the next year. Okay, so that's the energy that I want going into New Year's Eve. And that's why we're here in New Orleans, because nobody else parties like New Orleans. And we are here I'm going to take this around. Hold on. I hope this doesn't cut me up. It doesn't. Okay, I'm going to take this around. And so we are here in the Marigny or on Frenchman Street. And we're getting ready for the big show. I'll take you in here a little bit. The folks are getting ready here. They're doing we've been doing technical checks all morning. They're waiting for me to finish so they can get started. This is DBA. Look, big equipment. I hope they got it working. Now you guys can get in there. It's fine. Are we good, Hunter? All right. We're counting on Hunter. So anyways, look, here's what I'm happy about. They are delivering the drinks here. I saw the Stella truck come, the Miller truck come, the Budweiser truck come, and this is hard iced tea that's being delivered right here. You see it, right? So we're getting ready to have a lit old time and celebrate New Year's Eve the way it should be celebrated, with just having a good time, okay? So I want you guys to go to donlemon.com if you want to know anything about the show. If you want to come here to Frenchman Street, to DBA and the Spotted Cat, which is where we're going to be, go to the donlemon.com. Right at the top, you can purchase tickets. You can it's a VIP. We're going to have roped off areas for the Lemonheads and some of the folks who are going to come. And it is open bar, and it's going to have some food. So, and it's going to be a block party that we're going to block the street off. And so you'll have full access. And then right across here is going to be our very own little, I was going to say Garden of Eden, Garden of Debauchery. No, it'll be fun because we have the art market here where we're going to have cooking and all kinds of things for you to be able to enjoy. Okay, on New Year's Eve. I'm doing my own handy camera work here with the camera that's in front of me. So go to donlemon.com. Also, if you come and at home that evening, I want you to wear your merch. Wear the Don Lemon Show merch. If you come here to New Orleans, we'll have some merch on site. And if you go to donlemon.com on merch, you can buy some of it and wear it here. And if you're at home, take a picture of it and send it to us at the donlemonshow@gmail.com, and we'll put it on the air for you. And if you're having a party You can call it a lemon watch party. If you have to, a bunch of folks over at the house or a couple of people over at the house, let us know at thedonlemonshow@gmail.com, and we will stream in with you. We'll dial into your party. So just let us know, okay? So check us out. We're getting ready for New Year's Eve. Stay tuned because all day we may be doing some streaming. I got to go do some interviews with some local people right now. And so I shall see you maybe a little bit earlier, but definitely for 5 o'clock Eastern time for our regular Lemon Live at 5. Okay. I heard you yesterday. You were like, hey. So hang on one second. Oh yeah. Yesterday you said, hey, we want our regular 5 o'clock show. I got you. I feel you. I want to give you what you want. Okay. So be informed without being inundated until I see you back here at 5 o'clock Eastern time. If not before on our IRL, turn the TV off.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next